But where do you even start? Like, I know you gave some good advice, but when I, or at least when I first got started, when I look at all these toys, I don't even know, like, how do you look up an item? Where do you start? Because with toys, there's so many. There's thousands of different characters and brands. Like, it just seems for the average person, to you, it's probably like, it's second nature.
Well, I had to learn it all on my own as well. And a lot of these things you'll recognize if you have kids, if you were a kid, which everybody was.
I popped out an adult.
You may recognize some of the little pet shop stuff. You may recognize some stuff to start. So I guess that's where you would start, is start with the stuff you actually recognize. If you see that SpongeBob in a bag, like, you can look that up because you know it's SpongeBob. If you see a little pet shop stuff, you can look it up because you know it's a little pet shop. So I'm sure everybody has some sort of knowledge in some toys. So that's where I would start, and then kind of keep with the same theme. If this Disney figures and these Disney characters do good, maybe other ones do well. If little pet shop, little dog toys do well, maybe other ones do well. If dollhouses do well and dollhouse accessories do well, maybe other dollhouse accessories do well. And kind of that way. That's the best advice that I would give, is start with what you know and then expand slowly.
Where do you find toys?
Savers, Goodwill, Salvation Army, tag sales, auction.
Why?
Garage sales, estate sales.
Facebook Marketplace. There's a ton of
Facebook Marketplace, Let Go, Offer Up.
People want to know, Vinny, I go to Savers, I go to Goodwill, I don't have toy bags. It's impossible for me to find toys. What do I do?
No toy bags?
They're saying there's no toy bags, and there's a couple comments saying there's no way I can do what you do because I don't have toy bags. So what advice would you give them?
So that's just store-wise. I mean, if you can't find them in a store, there's toys everywhere, like everywhere. You can find them on Facebook Marketplace is a good one. Tag sales, garage sales, estate sales, even flea markets you can go to.
And where are you going after this video?
Auction, a live auction.
So people are saying I can't find toys. I can't go to the thrift store and find toys. So what you're saying is look other places.
Yeah, pretty much. There's all different kind of avenues nowadays. There's so many things out there. There's Let Go, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. Summer's coming up. It's close to April, guys. Like, there's going to be a lot of tag sales and stuff, and people are going to start dumping items. So if you didn't find bags now, you'll definitely find them soon.
So what advice would you give to somebody who's at an auction and because everything's moving so fast, it's hard.
If you remember, I didn't buy any of those.
Yeah, I noticed.
Those things because of the condition. Like, there was a U.S. mail truck by, I think it was Tonka or Nile, one of those companies, and it was going for $75, but in mint condition. And when I saw a kind of banged up one, it was only a current bid was like $14.99 plus shipping, and the bid was already at $25. So I'm not going to pay for that.
Yeah.
It's important when buying toys to know two things: the condition and how much you're paying for it. Like, you should never be paying a lot of money for a banged up toy unless it's a super rare toy or it's like super expensive.
And then there's margin there for you.
Yeah, exactly. To sell it for parts or sell it to be painted or whatever. Don't shoot yourself in the foot before you start running. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, call me an idiot, say I'm ruining the toy business after you've done it for a year and tried it all. Like, that's when I'll listen to you. But if you haven't exhausted every avenue to try to prove me wrong, then I don't want to hear it.
Well, I'll tell you, Vinny, it's interesting because I've been in this market for a long time, not necessarily with toys, but with tons of items. And I've gone out with new resellers and they say, see, it doesn't work. I can't find anything. And here's the deal. Sometimes you're going to go out and not find anything.
Listen, you guys go fishing. I'm sure at least 60 to 70% of you have gone fishing before. Like, you can't throw your line in the water and catch a big whale every time. Like, you can't even catch a small fish every time. Like, you have to keep throwing and throwing. I've gone fishing. My arm goes like this 600 times before I get a bite sometimes. And that's the same thing with anything you do in life, and it's the same thing with toys. If you're gonna walk into one store and complain to me that you can't find anything, that's not really gonna help me. That's like me going to the ocean, throwing in a rod, reeling it in, and say, oh, I didn't catch any fish, I'm going home.
There's no more fish in the ocean, man, because I made a YouTube video.
Yeah, now everyone's gonna go
It's just, I'll be honest, and this is gonna upset and ruffle some feathers, but I would say I mean, half these people on YouTube are just weak. I mean, I'm just saying, like, they're just mentally weak. They have no experience in business, and I'm not saying this to take you out. This was me as well when I first started. But you have to understand, there's competition out there. There's competition. Like, it's not easy being a reseller.
Yeah.
It's not like when we grow up, everything's gonna be so peachy and fine, and our mom and daddy is gonna take care of us. Like, when you hit the real world, it's not easy. You gotta fight for what you want, and you gotta be creative. And if something's not at a thrift store, stop crying and stop whining and go out on Facebook Marketplace. Go to an auction. Go to a flea market.
Yeah, I would say the best advice, you hit the nail on the head. Like, get out of your own way. Like,
I didn't mean that that came off so negative. I didn't mean it like that.
no, it's fine. I think some people do need to hear it. I mean, and nobody's crapping on anybody here. Like,
Except me, just a second
I think
ago, I'm
that I give an excuse to everybody. Anytime I read a comment that's negative about me or toys reselling, or I'm just trying to make money off of guides, like, I choose to go the positive rather than the negative. And I say, well, maybe they're upset in their life. Maybe they tried it for a couple months and it didn't work for them, and now they're lashing out. Like, so I understand the other aspect of it. Like, I understand where it comes from.
Yeah,
but
true.
People have to think and sit deep down. Like, am I limiting myself, or is somebody making a toy video ruining it for me? Is it you, or is it the video? Like, which one is it? Like, really think about it. Really think hard. Like, am I limiting myself from going out there and being the best I can be, or am I blaming it on somebody else?
Yeah, and I'd like to even jump in and say I've done experiments with this, and I've made videos about this. If you're in a negative state and you're like in a poverty mindset where you're like, oh, all these videos are ruining the market, blah, 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 and it's an angry state, right? That's not you. That's just the state you're in. If I go to a thrift store, Vinny, and I'm in a negative state, I rarely find anything. But if you ever go there, it's kind of like, I don't know, when I was younger, you ever like go shopping, go to the mall, you get a new pair of sneakers and stuff, and then you're like, oh my God, all the girls are into me? No, it's just I'm feeling good about myself, and I'm putting out a good energy, and it's coming back. I know it sounds like voodoo, but
yeah,
it's true.
And one of the main things is going into a thrift store or a garage sale or anything like that, sometimes it's just luck. Like, sometimes you're just lucky. Like, sometimes you'll walk in there and they just put out that expensive item and you just saw it. Like the other day, 3 days ago, you were in a Savers and they rolled out with a cart of DVDs, and Steve pulled out this Powerpuff DVD.
Oh, but a lot of people are always asking, like, Vinny, like, do you do buy it now? Do you do auctions? Like, I'm scared to do auctions because I don't want to lose money. So what's your strategy when it comes to auctions on eBay? And just answer the question that came in if you can.
So, well, with toys, I mostly do auctions. And the reason I do auctions is because we buy a lot of bags from our local Savers, and there's a whole bunch of different stuff in there. It's not like one complete set. It's not like one brand new in box thing that you like know exactly what the price is.
Gotcha.
And then the other factor is there are a lot of mixed lots and like one-off lots that like other sellers don't usually have. They have similar ones, but I may have a couple different figures. They may have a couple different figures. So the value is hard. Like, you can get a ballpark, but it's harder to actually really give the value. So what I do is I put it at auctions for around the price that I see the comps and the sold listings.